Hi students, this is lecture content that I am presenting on the topic of mentoring, and this is to help you prepare for the mentorship experience and also to help you write your mentorship goals paper. So mentoring is a term that's been around for a while and it's commonly used in nursing. Sometimes it's confused with the term precepting. But mentoring is not a new concept. It's been around since the days of Florence Nightingale. And the role of the mentor has been said to promote acceptance, confirmation, and role acquisition in the individual being mentored. And mentorship can empower new nurses to develop an improved professional identity and spur them to action. So, as you're finishing your baccalaureate education, you should be thinking about how this baccalaureate education is affecting your role as a professional nurse. And part of this mentorship experience is to refine those professional pieces of your identity. Some of the actual activities that may be done with your mentor can include searching the databases together, reviewing the literature, in being involved in helping to write grant applications or write manuscripts, assist in journal article writing or submission, assist in the process of applying for institutional review for research. So there's lots of different things that you can do with your mentor. And so we're going to talk a little bit more about some of what the literature says mentorship is. And these are things that I found from doing some reading on articles I found about mentorship. So Donovan from 1990 says that the definition of a mentor is a wise counselor and trusted teacher. Swanson says that the mentorship experience includes a way to transfer knowledge, that it's a learning experience, a critical companionship, and a process in which two or more people create a connection and a safe environment that allow healing truth and wisdom to be discovered. May, Melise, and Winstead Fry define mentoring as an intense relationship between a novice and a wise, knowledgeable person. And Andrews and Walls define it as a long-term relationship that promotes the novice's well-being. What else does mentoring involve? Well, it encompasses formal and informal supporting, guiding, coaching, and teaching. The mentor should be a role model and can counsel. The mentor can advocate, network, and share with the protege. Although some attributes develop throughout the mentoring experience, the key traits of honesty, respect, commitment of time and self, and communication skills are essential from the beginning. And remember that mentoring is a reciprocal process. That's very important. So you need to think about what you expect from the mentorship, but you really need to be thinking in terms of what you plan to bring to the mentorship. And you want to present yourself as a professional. You should begin to stop thinking about yourself as a student. You should really be thinking about yourself as a baccalaureate prepared nurse because you're almost there. And you need to start to manifest the professional characteristics of the baccalaureate nurse. So you want to start to act in a really, professional way. Not that you haven't been, but to really start to display some of the unique characteristics that are provided by a baccalaureate education. So mentoring in the Webster's Dictionary is defined as the act of teaching or advising someone, and a protege is defined as a person who is guided and helped, especially in furthering his or her career. So you can see where this mentorship experience in this course is intended to help further you along in your career. So you want to approach this mentorship, like I said, in a very professional way. You want to give of yourself to the site and to the mentor, and accept what is given to you with dignity and respect and appreciation. So this is, you shouldn't be looking at the mentor as your teacher or faculty member. They don't really evaluate you. That's my role. And so you shouldn't, you should think of the relationship that you have with your mentor as collegial, as working together, which is different than the relationship that you have with your teacher. Your teacher evaluates you, your teacher, you know, determines whether you have achieved the learning outcomes of a course, and that isn't really the focus of a mentor. You shouldn't feel that you're being sort of evaluated or assessed. It's a different relationship. So it can be a very positive, mutually enjoyable experience. Not that you can't have that with your teacher or your professor, but it's a different kind of relationship. So you should consider that it is different. One article I read talked about 4 stages in the mentorship process. I thought it was important to share this with you, and so that you can refer to this throughout your mentorship experience to see if it rings true for you. The first stage of initiation involves mentor and mentee meeting, getting to know each other, and setting goals. So, part 1 of the process includes setting goals. And so we are asking you in this course to write a brief paper, 1 to 2 pages, about what goals you have. And we talked the first night of class that this mentorship experience really has 2 unique parts of it. One part is it's going to help you in your evidence-based practice project. But separate from that, it's an opportunity for you to develop some of the professional goals and identities that you see for yourself as you move into this next phase of your career, that of the baccalaureate prepared nurse. So in a few minutes, we're going to talk a little bit about what I hope to see you do in your paper. The second stage of the mentorship is called cultivation. So think about the term cultivation, how it's used in other aspects, like sort of cultivating in plants or things that grow in the ground and things like that. So the cultivation in the mentorship experience is information is shared. So again, look at that term, shared. It's not, you aren't being taught per se, you're working together and sharing with each other. Joint problem solving. Promoting respectful confrontation of decisions and exploration of alternatives. So coming together and working together. It isn't one-sided. You aren't just the recipient of the knowledge from the mentor. You also provide something to the relationship. There should be a lot of give and take. And a lot of times when professionals decide to be a mentor, it's because they're looking to gain something from the student. I know from being a nurse for a long time that some of my colleagues get sort of, they might say they're in a rut. The job gets very monotonous. It gets very routine. And sometimes when they have a student that they're mentoring, they feel that they're getting sort of a new rejuvenation in their role, because the student brings a lot of questions that maybe they hadn't thought about in a while. So they start to think, well, gee, I'm not 100% sure about that. I think I have to look that up. And they start to see that the students are reading a lot of current literature. And a lot of people that have been practicing for a while, they stop doing that. It's not a good idea. Maybe we should always keep reading and keeping up to date. But sometimes when you work with students, you realize that, geez, I haven't looked at that guideline in a while, and now look, it's changed. So you bring something to the relationship too. So you need to remember that. The third stage of the mentorship is separation from the original novice expert role. So in stage 3, that hopefully you may see this your relationship evolve to this stage. You maybe are no longer seen as the novice, but maybe more of a partner. So maybe in the first 2 or 3 sessions, or even 4 sessions with your mentor, it may feel like novice expert kind of relationship. And as this semester goes along, it may start to feel more collegial, like you're working together. And I definitely noticed that with some of the students last semester. They really had a good bonding with their mentor, and it started to feel like they were working together, so that was really nice. And the fourth stage of mentorship is mutually redefining the mentorship relationship towards a long-term friendship or going separate ways. If you think about your whole life, your professional career, have you ever had a relationship that's been like a mentorship? Is there somebody who has really been there for you or guided you during points in time where you've been learning new things? I had a mentor. She was my preceptor. My very first job as a nurse, I was at Boston City on the infant toddler PD floor, medical floor. And I was very excited to be there because I always loved, little babies and toddlers. And here I was working on this floor, but I was a nervous wreck. I had graduated from college and I passed my boards, but still I was so afraid. I was afraid I was going to hurt a baby or make a mistake. So, I worked with my preceptor, but she was quite a bit older than me. She was probably at least 20 or 25, probably 20 years older than me. And I would say that our relationship became more than just a preceptor and a preceptee. We really became good friends, and I really consider her a mentor for many reasons. One is she was a very wise person. I felt like not only was she a wonderful nurse and truly, cared so much about the babies that we took care of, but she was very wise in life and about sort of, just general topics that didn't necessarily pertain just to our work. And so I had so much respect for her. I will never forget her. I still think about her often to this day, even though I haven't seen her in a long time. And we really developed a mutual respect for each other. I think she saw me as a nervous Nellie, new nurse, but realized that I was going to be a good nurse. I think she saw the potential in me, and she cultivated that, and I'm forever grateful. So you may end up having that kind of a relationship with your mentor, and you may not. You may at the end say, okay, thank you so much. This was great. Best to you, and move on. So just be open to the idea that it may, this relationship may evolve over time. You may maintain a relationship with the person, and you may not. This slide is again taken from an article that I read, and I will include the bibliography for you guys if you want to read some of these articles. I pulled out some key things, but this table, which is too small for me to read right now as I'm doing this voiceover PowerPoint, it includes the attributes of a mentor and the attributes of a mentee. So when you watch this slideshow, you'll be able to see it because it'll be bigger. And you can sort of look at those different attributes and think about how they will impact the relationship that you have. And this slide is taken from the Wagner and Seymour article. And it's a collection of quotes, exact quotes that students mentors and mentees who were studied. So this was a qualitative research study because it was in their own words, and that's qualitative research. So the people that they were interviewing spoke in their own words about the mentorship experience. So you might want to read through those quotes and just to get an idea of past mentorship experiences, and also to think about these as you're going through your mentorship to see if some of these are ringing true with you too. Now this slide I just put in here because this is my dog Trevor, who passed away in November, who I had to put to sleep, and I just love him so much, and he's so cute. So I just wanted you to see him again, and he's just, he's a sweetheart, and I will love him forever. And there he is. Look how adorable he is. And it also was reminding me to shift gears, because what I want to talk about in the next two slides is your paper that's due next week, so that hopefully I can help you write the paper as I would like to see it written. So anyway, that's tea. That's my tea. Okay, so you have to do a paper on your goals for your mentorship experience. And I talked with you already about writing and how to organize a paper. And one of the ways to organize a paper is to have subheadings throughout your paper. And APA manual tells you how to do that. But generally they're bolded, and they appear in the middle of the page, and then you write the information for that topic underneath that in regular font. And then when you're ready to go to the next topic, you put your heading in there again, center of the page, bolded. So to help you, I want you to use those 6 bulleted, bold-faced topics that you see on this slide as the organization of your mentor goals paper. And the reason is because I want you to include what's there. So if you use those as subheadings, then you'll be sure to include everything. And it'll also help you to stay organized. So the first part of any paper is an introduction. And you want to introduce the paper to the reader. You want to say, this paper is about blah, blah, blah. Because whoever's reading your paper wants to know what it's about. Sometimes the title is not enough. The title helps us to know generally what the topic of the paper is, but you can go anywhere with that. You could cover all sorts of things related to that topic, or only specific things. So the title is one thing, but then you really have to tell the reader what this particular paper is going to cover. So that as the reader reads that introduction, they know what to look for. They know what's coming. And so within your introduction, you want to say that this paper is a paper that's going to describe your goals for a mentorship experience. And you can include in that, the site where you're going and what led you to that site. Why did you choose this area of interest? And even if the reality of it was you just wanted someplace that was close to home, you're really going to have to build on that, because that's not really a professional reason. I mean, I know we're all, I get it. We're all busy, and reality is reality. But theoretically, you should have been thinking about something that you wanted to gain and learn. And when you had the opportunity to express to Christine what kind of an experience you would like, there was a reason for it. So I'd like to hear about that. What is it about where you're at in your nursing career that made you want to have a mentorship experience in this particular setting? Then the next part is I want you to describe the setting and how you feel it's going to contribute to the attainment of your goals. You should then have a section on your mentor qualifications and professional background. So whatever you can find out about your mentor, write about it. What kind of experiences did they have? How much education have they had? Do they have a bachelor? They have to have at least a bachelor's. Do they have a master's? Do they have a doctor of nursing practice? Do they have a PhD? Do they do research? Have they done research? Have they published? Are they strictly clinically focused? How long have they been in nursing? What makes them qualified to be your mentor. So discuss that. Then the next section you can talk about what activities that you have discussed with your mentor that you believe you will be engaging in during this mentorship experience. And there should be something beyond the work you're going to be doing for your evidence-based practice proposal. You're really going to be developing, your role as a professional nurse. And we're going to talk about that in a minute in terms of how the 9 essentials of baccalaureate education can be used by you as a guide to help you articulate which aspects of the professional nurse you hope to really refine in this mentorship experience. And then, if possible, it would be nice for you to include your proposed schedule of how you plan to meet those 72 hours, just so that I have an idea. If you're not sure yet, you can say that. Or you might say, the plan is to do, every Thursday from 12 to 6, or maybe it's going to be every other, Wednesday from 7 to 7, or however you decide it's going to work into your schedule and in your mentor schedule. Or maybe it has to be flexible because of your schedule and or the mentor schedule. Just say that, just so I have an idea. And then the closing of your paper is a summary of the paper. Okay, this was what this paper was about. I addressed the setting, the qualifications, etc. And it would be very helpful if you share this paper with your mentor so that they have a good idea of where your goals are coming from. They get a copy of the syllabus so they know what the course objectives are, but they want to know what your personal goals are from this experience. So the better able you are to articulate those, the better, it will be, the easier it will be for your mentor to help you reach those goals. In addition, like I said the first night of class, at the end of the semester, you are going to need to evaluate yourself. You're going to need to do a self-evaluation of your mentorship experience. So we're not asking you to evaluate your mentor. We're asking you to evaluate yourself. How did I do? And one of the best ways to evaluate how you did was to look at what your goals were and whether you achieved them or not. It's just like as faculty, we need to evaluate students at the end of the semester, and that's why we have learning objectives, because that's what we measure. So we provide learning objectives so we know what to teach, and then we give you content and assignments to address those, and then how well you do on those tells us at the end of the semester that you achieved the goals or the objectives. So in order for you to do a really good self-evaluation at the end of the semester, you really need to identify what your goals are. And if you're struggling with that, then what I recommend you do is look at the essentials of baccalaureate education for professional nursing practice. This document, this PDF document, is posted on the homepage of our course on e-learning. And so when you open the PDF, on page 3, it includes the 9 essentials. These essentials are what the American Association of Colleges of Nursing have determined are critical for baccalaureate prepared nurses to have. And that's why colleges who prepare the baccalaureate nurse use these essentials to guide the curriculum development. So this RN to BSN program is based on these 9 essentials, and education addressing these 9 essentials has been included throughout the program. And the CCNE, which is the accrediting body from the AACN, is the body that accredits our program, and certainly they are looking to see that we addressed these essentials. So what you can do is look at them to help you think about which are important to you. For example, the first one, it talks about being a generalist, a baccalaureate generalist, which is to focus more on your liberal arts education. The second essential is organizational and systems leadership for quality care and patient safety. So you may think about whether, part of your goal for this program was to be more of a leader, to be more involved in the organizational culture at an institution as opposed to just patient care, or perhaps you're focused on quality care or patient safety. Essential number 3 is evidence-based practice, which, as you know, this course is focused a lot on this essential. And so that may be one of your goals, is to really, gain an understanding on how important it is to, you know, base practice on sound evidence. Essential 4 is information management and patient care technology. Perhaps you chose your clinical site because you wanted to become more astute in the use of technology that's related to patient care. Essential 5 is healthcare policy, finance, and regulatory environments. Perhaps you're more interested in developing the ability to understand the health policy and financial aspects of healthcare. Essential 6 is communication and collaboration. So perhaps you hope that this mentorship experience is going to help you develop in your role as a collaborative care provider, working with other members of the team. Essential 7 is clinical prevention and population health. Perhaps you chose your particular mentorship site because you were interested in caring more for a population instead of just an individual patient. You wanted to refine your skills in sort of epidemiology, or just looking at, how to provide care for children in schools if you chose a school health placement, or visiting nurses, so you're sort of more interested in community patients living out in the community as opposed to acute care patients, so you can sort of, reflect on that essential. Essential 8 is professionalism and professional values. So perhaps one of your goals in this mentorship, depending on who your mentor is or what their role is you hope to refine your professionalism. You hope to really help yourself to stand out from the role you had as the associate degree prepared nurse to now sort of a more professional, more highly educated nurse. And then essential 9 is generalist nursing practice. So perhaps you just wanted to, refine your current skills. You're still just interested, not just, but you're still interested in, being a good nurse. And now you're just, have more knowledge to change your approach to problems. It doesn't mean you're going to be necessarily practicing different or in a different environment. Perhaps you're going to bring more to your role. Basically education changes how we think. So the more education you have, the better you think. And thinking is a big part of nursing, critical thinking. And now that you have a breadth and a depth of knowledge that you didn't have before. So when you encounter a problem in practice, or just, many hurdles throughout the day, you may approach those very differently now that you have this different background in education. So perhaps that's what your goal is. So I'm just going to wrap up here. I hope that this mini lecture helps you to think about this mentorship experience. I hope you will read the articles that I posted, and definitely refer to them in your paper. I would like to see you cite at least 1 or 2 articles in this paper, so that A, I know you've done some reading, and B, that I can begin to see how well you know how to cite an APA format, both in-text citations and reference list at the end. So definitely try to incorporate some of what you have read in the articles in your paper, at least 2 or 3 in-text citations, and at least 1 or 2 references in your bibliography. And you can reference the Essentials Guide in your bibliography. Again, I hope this is helpful, and please let me know if I can help out in any other way. If for some reason you feel you will not be able to keep the due date or get this paper done by the due date of next week based on the schedule you have set up with your mentor, just send me an email and let me know that. Okay, so good luck, and I'll hear from you if you have any problems.